Colleagues, back in 2002, I started an organization called Oregonians for Jobs and Power, and one of the things we were focused on was trying to prevent the takeover of PGE, but we also were talking about the business environment in the state of Oregon. And at the time, members of OJP were united in the feeling that Oregon had begun to develop an unfriendly business environment. We did what we could while we were active to try to sound the alarm on the trends in this state on that issue. I am sad to report at this point that over the last 6 to 8 years, I haven't really noticed any change in that trend. I think that it's only gotten worse. It's not hard to see. We have the second highest unemployment rate in the country. We have had an unemployment rate that's above the national average for over 10 years. You don't see a lot of high-profile companies choosing to open in the state of Oregon or to relocate to the state of Oregon. We have, over the last 10 years, seen a number of high-profile companies do just the opposite. They have relocated outside of Oregon. I don't believe that what we're going to do today is going to help. And if you believe this is help, I would say your help hurts. Let's have an honest conversation about government's budget and taxation. They're linked. They're linked. The reason why the budget revenue from income taxes and corporate taxes is down is because economic activity is down. It's not like folks out there are refusing to pay their taxes or companies are refusing to pay their corporate taxes. The revenue is down because they're out there hurting, desperately trying to make ends meet. And we are so focused on the needs of government that we can't acknowledge that. These two budgets are linked, and yet when they're hurting out there and can't send enough revenue here, our solution is, well, we're going to go out and take some more from you. Apparently, we could really care less because we are so focused on the needs of government. But what happens out there is critical, because that has to be working and functioning and doing well for us to be able to do the good things that we want to do here. I have received emails for the last 2 days, plaintiff just pleading emails from small business owners in my district. This gentleman is a veterinarian out in Cornelius, Dr. Boulard. He writes, I'm particularly concerned about the proposed personal and corporate tax and fee increases. What value will the corporate division deliver in return for the increased registration fees for corporations, LCCs, and DBAs? The frequently repeated line that corporations only pay $10 a year is a myth. That is the filing fee. Every dime of profit that an S-Corp or LLC makes passes directly through to the owner's 1040, and federal and state and self-employment tax is paid on it. If an Oregon entrepreneur wishes to start, say, a T-shirt embroidery business in her home, but is too busy with her day job to work in her new endeavor for a year and thus produces minimal revenue and no profit, why should the state of Oregon penalize her by making her pay tax on a business from which she didn't produce a dime of profit? Why should they charge her more to register her corporate name for another year when all they do is provide a website and a bank account to collect her visa payment? I'm proud to say that I have not had to lay off an employee during this downturn. We have delayed raises, had some attrition in our workforce, and have recreated some job descriptions. I wish that our state government could say that it's done the same. We are expanding our services to our clients, decreasing expenses, and our employees are still managing to pay their bills and stay off of the unemployment rolls. How come we don't see the same type of management moves in our state government? This gentleman is a contractor in Sherwood, Mr. Jim Herty. He writes, I'm sure you're all fully aware of the negative impacts these bills will have on business in Oregon, particularly small business. As a small business owner myself, struggling to make it in this economy, these bills will create both hardship on my business, but also to continue to create the kind of negative anti-business atmosphere that discourages businesses from coming to Oregon.
Representative Gilliam-Yields.
And those here from growing in Oregon. This income tax will increase the cost of capital needed in my business and thousands in like mind to continue to grow and employ fellow Oregonians. The same is true for this corporate tax. It amounts to a double taxation for small businesses. How can they possibly think it is right to tax a small business even when it doesn't make any money? Last year we had a sales volume of over $9 million but lost $50,000. With this corporate tax, I will have lost an additional $4,000 due to the corporate minimum proposed under this bill. I pray and hope you can convince your fellow representatives and senators to come to their senses and kill these bills. The good representative from Kaiser Newburgh had listed some of the folks on this sheet. This is basically the vast majority of your business community. The food processors, the grocers, the realtors, the bankers, cattlemen, the Farm Bureau, the Forest Industries Council, the home builders, the lodging, the metals industry, your neighborhood store association, the restaurants, pleading with you not to put another nail in their coffin. You have no idea how many of these businesses are just teetering right now. Just teetering. And it's not getting better out there right now. It is getting worse. Let's be very clear about the revenue needs of this government. Very clear. When you hear that Oregon has a revenue problem, don't you believe it. Don't you believe it. The Governor's Office of Economic Analysis estimates that without these tax increases, income tax revenue collected from Oregon taxpayers will grow from $13.659 million to $19.075 million over the next 6 years. That, colleagues, is a 40% increase, or a 6.5% increase per year. 6.5% increase per year. This state does not have a revenue problem. It has a budgeting problem. We have that problem, and we abuse that money that is sent from the folks outside this building because we refuse to address some of the issues that we all know what they are about how money is expended here and how budgets increase at rates that do far outpace inflation. We don't address that. They beg us to. They're out there hurting. And now, when revenue is down because they can't generate enough economic activity out there to pay for what we want to do, our solution is to go out and take more from them. This sorry state of affairs is the state of Oregon today. I urge a no vote.